Rising fuel costs are no longer just a concern. They're reshaping the way general aviation pilots plan, fly, and even dream about their next flight. For retirees, hobbyists, and newcomers exploring aircraft like the Cessna 172 Skyhawk, Piper Cub J3, or Diamond DA50RG, fuel has always been a predictable expense. But today, those costs are climbing faster than many anticipated. Could rising fuel prices threaten the very future of GA as we know it? Let's explore this question and what it means for pilots everywhere. As you listen, think about your own flying habits and share your insights in the comments. How are rising fuel prices affecting your plans and choices? Let's start with light singles, the bread and butter of recreational flying. Aircraft like the Piper Cherokee 140, Beechcraft Musketeer Sundowner, or Cessna 177 Cardinal have historically offered affordable, accessible flying. A few gallons per hour kept weekend hops or short cross-country flights feasible. Now, with fuel prices rising, even these modest engines carry a heavier financial burden. Retirees who once flew for the sheer joy of cruising the countryside must consider every flight carefully. Planning and budgeting become more than convenience. They become a necessity. Ask yourself, are you willing to cut back on hours aloft, or will you seek alternative strategies, like flying lighter aircraft or more fuel-efficient models? Comment below with your approach. For mid-performance singles and four-seaters, aircraft like the Piper Saratoga, Diamond DA62, and Beechcraft Bonanza G36 face similar pressures. These planes are perfect for retirees who enjoy longer trips, higher speeds, or a bit more comfort. But fuel burn climbs quickly with power and weight. A cross-country trip in a Bonanza that once felt affordable now requires careful budgeting. Many pilots are exploring options like cruising at more efficient power settings, flying shorter legs, or even forming flying clubs to share costs. How do you adapt when fuel costs rise? Let us know in the comments. Your strategies might help other pilots stay in the sky. Turboprops, including the Daher TBM 960, Piper M600 SLS, and Pilatus PC-12 NGX, offer incredible performance and flexibility, but they are not immune to the impact of rising fuel prices. A flight that once seemed effortless across state lines can now be expensive, with fuel costs sometimes exceeding airport fees. For retirees flying for both pleasure and practical travel, this is a reality that cannot be ignored. Some pilots are considering alternative fuels, newer models with better efficiency, or even hybrid electric trainers coming to the market. Which of these strategies appeals to you? Share your thoughts in the comments. High-performance jets like the Cirrus Vision Jet SF50, Honda Jet Elite 2, or Cessna Citation Longitude represent the pinnacle of speed and comfort in GA. But their fuel consumption is significant, and rising prices hit these aircraft hardest. While many jet owners have the means to absorb higher costs, retirees flying for pleasure must consider trade-offs. Fewer flights, shorter trips, or switching to more fuel-efficient aircraft for weekend adventures. Even flying a Diamond DA50RG or Sling TSI occasionally can become a financial decision rather than a simple joy. How do you balance enjoyment with cost? Discuss in the comments. Your experience matters. It's not just about the dollars per gallon. Rising fuel costs ripple through maintenance, insurance, and airport fees, creating a compounding effect that can limit recreational flying. Aircraft like the Piper PA-46 Malibu, Extra 330LX, and Cessna 182 Skylane all see the impact, whether it's higher operating costs for weekend trips or the need to plan meticulously for longer flights. Retirees must weigh the cost of flying against the joy of time in the air. And for some, it may mean fewer hours aloft or seeking alternative ways to keep the passion alive. How are you navigating this challenge? Let's keep the discussion going in the comments. Some pilots are turning to smaller, lighter, and more efficient aircraft like the Piper PA-18 Super Cub, Cubcrafters X-Cub, or Pipistrel Panthera. These planes consume less fuel, maintain versatility, and still provide the joy of flight. Retirees looking to stay in the air without breaking the bank are exploring these options. embracing simpler, slower flying that maximizes every gallon. There's also a growing interest in forming flying groups or clubs to share fuel expenses and keep flying affordable. Could this be the future of recreational GA? Share your thoughts below. Rising fuel prices also encourage a re-examination of flight planning and piloting habits. Pilots of aircraft like the Cessna TTX, Piper Seneca V, or Van's RV-10 are now scrutinizing every route, altitude, and power setting to maximize efficiency. What was once casual flying becomes intentional, measured, and mindful. For retirees, this brings both challenges and opportunities. You might fly less often, but with better planning, each flight can still be memorable and fulfilling. How has rising fuel affected your flight planning? Comment below and continue the conversation. In the long term, GA may see shifts toward more efficient aircraft, alternative fuels, and hybrid technologies. Trainers and light sport aircraft like the Aeropract A22 Foxbat, Just Aircraft Super STOL, and Zenith CH750 STOL could become even more attractive as lower-cost flying options. For retirees and hobbyists, staying informed and adaptable will be key to continuing the joy of flight in a changing economic environment. Which technologies or aircraft appeal to you most in this context? Share your predictions in the comments. Ultimately, the rising cost of fuel challenges the culture of recreational flying, but doesn't have to end it. Pilots who adapt, whether through efficient aircraft, careful planning, or flying clubs, can continue enjoying time in the air. Aircraft like the Cessna 208 Caravan, Daher TBM 850-900 series, or Piper M700 Fury still offer incredible experiences if managed wisely. Retirement is the perfect time to explore these options, consider new ways of flying, and maintain the joy of general aviation despite higher costs. Flying has always been about freedom, adventure, and personal satisfaction. While rising fuel costs may limit some activities, the sky is far from closed. By sharing strategies, adjusting habits, and choosing aircraft wisely, retirees and hobby pilots can continue to experience the thrill of flight. Comment below with your experiences, your favorite aircraft, and how you're handling the fuel challenge. Together, the GA community can navigate these changes and ensure that flying remains accessible, exciting, and rewarding for years to come. Whether you pilot a classic Piper Cub, a Cirrus SR-22, a Beechcraft Bonanza G36, or a Diamond DA-50 RG, understanding fuel economics and planning accordingly ensures every flight stays safe, affordable, and enjoyable. Rising fuel costs are a challenge, but not the end of general aviation.